Aristotle, Diogenes, the guy who invented Cheetos. These are the great thinkers of our time, but none of them compare to the sheer intellect and ingenuity of a middle-aged man rebuilding an old car in his house whilst trying not to annoy his wife. The problem was this: how do you spray an old Jeep engine in winter when it's raining and just above freezing? The answer? Purchase a cheap plastic Chinese greenhouse off eBay and build it on your drive whilst your wife is out shopping, and when the sun is shining, spray like your life depended on it. And so I give you the world's worst spray booth.
Who's laughing now?
Yes, it's Greendot 319. Welcome gentlemen, and welcome to many new subscribers this week as well. Congratulations gentlemen, you made the correct decision. You're entitled to 10% discount at the bar, so you have made a very good choice. And what are we doing? We are moving on at the moment then. We're trying to get this engine ready so that we can fit it into the Jeep frame so that we can start making some noise with the Jeep. Before we do that, there are a couple of things we've got to work on. We've got to get the transmission finished, we've got to get a transfer case painted, transmission painted as well, and importantly the engine's got to be painted as well so that we can fit it in there. I've got to work out how I'm going to remove the tub off the frame on my own and then mount the transmission and engine together with the transfer case. So there's a lot to be getting on with. But this week we've moved on to painting the engine, which is an important stage in the process of building the engine, because the paint finish is really going to set it off and it's what you're going to see all the time. So I've been working on the problem, as you can see, of how to paint a engine in winter in the UK. So let's move on to that. I got that done this week. It's gone pretty well, so let's see how we managed to do it then.
Right, 7 degrees on this side. Oh, look, it's getting warmer every second. This system is working. And then on this side, in the sun, we got, let's go. Oh, look at that, 12 degrees already. Right, let's get some heat in here and start heating this thing up. Gentlemen, certain issues are becoming apparent with the torch chamber greenhouse. Unfortunately, once you put some heat in there and start trying to clean off oil using a brake cleaner, it turns into your own personal gas chamber. And then combined with the heat, it turns into a torture chamber as well. So it may only be 6 degrees out here today, which is probably 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. But once you're in there, you know, you have to go down to short sleeves straight away because it's way too hot. But I think it's mostly working. Let's have a look. 16 degrees, 18 degrees. Yeah, that's what we need to spray. I think 16 is about the 14 on a stud. 16 is about the lowest you can do. So yeah, once I close it up again and get spraying, perhaps we should be okay then. So we're looking at about 15 degrees at the moment. So let's get a manifold on. Here it is. This is the paint we're going to be using. I know loads of you asked me about what is this paint. Well, unfortunately, it's the best paint I can find, and this is all the information you get. That is it. Mix number one. It's an enamel of some sorts, but it seems to go down just like real OD. World War II OD, and it looks fantastic. So I'm going to be using just the satin OD on this one, not a mix that I would normally do. I'd normally mix some matte paint with this as well to give a real sort of effect, World War II effect. But for the engine, I'm going to leave it a little bit more satin, just so for, you know, oil and things like that. But this paint has sat around a little while because, oh yeah, she's going to need a little bit of work. So let's get mixing. Now, I know this is going to come as a shock to some of you, but like all genius ideas, we do have some teething problems with this. Other than the poisonous gases, the extreme heat, and being in a confined space with a lot of vapour, the structural integrity of the Jeep, purpose-built Jeep painting area is not particularly fantastic. So that is a shock, but we'll work through these things. This has been in here for a little while now, a couple of hours, and what are we getting? Can you see? 24 degrees? That's pretty good. 24 degrees in the middle of winter, 6 degrees outside centigrade. Not bad at all. Do the bell housing as well. Now, if you haven't done spraying before, I'm not going to go through it because, you know, there's loads on YouTube about it, but it's really easy, especially with Jeep paint, olive drab. It's really forgiving. So if you're going to start spraying, olive drab is the best thing to use. Just get yourself a hold of a high volume, low pressure gun. Yeah, that's it, HVLP gun. Nice compressor, bigger the compressor the better, and some olive drab paint like the one I've got there, some thinners, and just work it out. It's really not difficult, and as I said, in World War II they just sprayed it everywhere, you know, they just lapped it on. So runs and what have you are very common. You know, in the corner of an oil can bracket I found about, well, 5 mil deep worth of paint, 7.5 mil deep worth of paint. That's how much paint they were spraying on these things. So yeah, just go for it, I say.
Right then, let's lay some OD down today. I've decided to dress like a coronavirus patient today because of the close confines in here, and I don't want to die. So let's see what we get here. Right, it's starting to come through.
Look how nicely that OD is going down with no particular skill being shown there, just layering it on. No runs or anything. You can see it's all wet. It's going to dry out in here in about 20 degrees in here. So yeah, that's how easy it is to spray OD. You can see the metal surface underneath showing through there. So yeah, really easy.
Right, I'm hoping dressing like a womble is going to pay off here. Let's get some OD down.
What can we say, Jeep fans? This has gone much better than anticipated, actually. The toxic hot box is working really well. You know, it's 20 odd degrees in here. I've really slathered the paint on this time. I wanted to get a factory style finish, so you can see the depth of paint I've gone for there. Yeah, as it dries, it'll flatten down and pull itself down onto the engine, so it won't look quite as glossy and you know, thick. But we've really gone for quite a lot, but the finish is fantastic. Even in 6-degree weather in winter in the UK, that sun and putting it inside the old toxic hot box has really made a difference here. So look at this, I don't see a run anywhere, and I really went for it. I didn't put a huge amount of thinners in, so I kept it really the paint really thick today, because it's warm in here. If you have it really thin, it'll become dusty. It'll dry before it hits the engine and become dusty. There is paint everywhere though. I'm getting it all over myself. I've taken off the coronavirus suit. Look at that. Yowza. It's going to be great. Well, gentlemen, I think we're reaching the limit of the hot box today. I think I've had enough. I've had enough fumes and heat and everything. We got quite a lot done. We got this transmission and transfer case sprayed up as well. They're not actually completed yet, so they're sort of semi-sprayed. The top on the transfer case isn't done, so I'll have to spin it over and do the rest of it, but I'll probably do that when the bottom's dry. So at least we've got one half of it done, which is all good. Look at this paint. Isn't that beautiful? It's been out of the sun, 20 degrees. Needs to cure a little bit longer, but it's fine to touch. But look at that. That's incredible. What beautiful paint that is. What's the most important part of spraying? Technique, the paint you use? No, it's prep and clean up. Prep, because spray paint doesn't cover stuff up really, it just hides it underneath and it will all show through, so unless you prepped it, it won't make a difference. So it's got to be prepped properly and degreased. And then the next thing is keeping your tool clean, which is important in life. So you've got to keep this thing really clean to make it work properly, and use filters in it as well, and filter the paint before you put it in, because if you do that you'll get proper spraying and proper results, but without that you're not going to achieve anything. So keep your tool clean.
Well, that went surprisingly well. I'm going to actually freely admit that this has gone much better than I expected it to. You know, trying to paint something in winter in the UK is not easy, especially when it's raining and it's cold. So for the toxic hotbox to actually have worked out properly, and to have painted that engine to get that finish in there, and for it to have actually dried as well, has really surprised me, so I am really pleased with that. Now in the video I say there's no skill involved. That's not entirely correct. There is a little bit of skill involved, but the only way you get skill is through practice. So if you've never picked up a spray gun before, do it. Pick one up, have a go, and you'll be surprised at the results. Remember, we're only dealing with olive drab here on a rough surface. We're not trying to get a gloss, you know, concourse finish here. So anything is pretty much better than they did in World War II. You'll be surprised at the results, and you'll have a good Jeep, so have a go. Right, that's what we've got time for this week. I hope everyone's enjoyed that. If you are not subscribed and you want the 10% discount at the bar, subscribe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. That'll let me know that what I'm doing is working out okay. We're going to move on to getting the engine in the Jeep and getting everything together and making some noise out of this thing. But until next time, happy Jeeping. Cheers, guys.